Oh, yes. I thought it was really mean. I really did. Somebody had taken a sewing technology and they made it sound like it was Hu Jintao when it wasn't. Ooch. Then they made it sound like it was Wen Jiabo when it wasn't. Yes. Then they made it sound like it was Xi Jinping when it was. Could you find out what the Chinese are doing today? Because speaking frankly, you know, it seemed that the Lee, the ly, the left y of every word. Yes. Could you call Heidi, my spouse, and find out all the Lees? Ooch. I was at a meeting last night and it was really educational, and I might not go today because, well, a friend of mine, the renter, had stopped by. We had a little talk, and I might stop over there and see if I could have a sandwich or something. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But it seemed like all the different Lees, frankly, Pooch, was kind of like Sheldon Frank. Could you call Karen his assistant? Yes, she was a tremendous secretary. Yes, maybe some of those at WM Financial remember Sheldon Frank. Yes, and then Karen, his very large breasted. Pow, pow. I never thought a lustful thought about her, and that's the truth. But I did notice her breast size. I did. I never thought a lustful thought. But the thought of, frankly, ooch, somebody, ooch, had sewn in ooch to every person I had ever known. Now, Sheldon Frank was my regional district manager at WM Financial. Yes, I went to visit him one day after I'd left WM Financial, and I thought, well, let's be friends. But he had that look in the eye like the Jews had gotten a hold of him because he was Jewish. Had sewn in the lizard of the synagogue of Satan. You know, I was thinking about them yesterday and their employees. You know, being the high priest of the synagogue of Satan, they oftentimes employ those that are not involved in anything sexual. We have this stereotype of the actual employees of the synagogue of Satan, as every one of them are involved in some sort of orgy or something other lascivious or lewd. Yes, yes, yes. But they actually involve programmers. And you remember that Hebrew that I was telling you about where they read right to left? They know a lot of programmers. And well, there was this guy, and I called him X, where the sidewalk ends. Yes, yes, yes. And a lot of the top secret hackers of these different nefarious types of organizations that had wanted to sew in so as to control the sexuality of the world. Yes. Well, the Synagogue of Satan doesn't just employ those in prostitution. No, they don't. They have a lot of administrative workers, isn't that right? Could you call Horowitz and Associates and find out, did they sew into Karen, frankly? Because I thought that every person that I had ever done any business with, yes, Horowitz had to sew into them because all of them, well, let's say that you're a woman. And you're actually administrative. You're not sexual. Yes, yes, yes. Your job was to do the filing for the Synagogue of Satan, and they actually did have. Have you ever thought of the stereotypical Jew before? No. They keep records of everything, and I was going to the Safeway one day, not the downtown Safeway, the East End Safeway. And oh my gosh, look at that, a big V. I didn't even notice that. Ooch, isn't right. So. Now, when you think about all the top secret meetings of the top secret synagogue of Satan, of those that had lizards in their asses, where they all came to find out because of their employment of escorts or other professional women that do provide sexual services for a considerable amount of remuneration. Yes, something over $10,000 a night, something along those lines, something along those lines. Quite often, before they have their top secret synagogue of Satan services and they sew in, they look to themselves and say, well, what employees are we going to need this year? Now, Mr. Aspect, ooch, and the Horowitz, ooch, and all the Howitz, pooch. I just wanted to know the admit. Crystal, you're so good. Just call Heidi and ask her of all the non pornography. In fact, go through and get me every one of those in that profession that did or did not have anything sexual to do with the whole thing. There are a few employees that, when you really think about it, isn't that right, Diane? Gotcha. That they were administrative. They were there to do the programming and they thought about how to sew in. They were not there that they didn't they didn't participate in the actual sexuality of the synagogue of Satan. Their job was just to be on them and think about exactly how to do it. Now look at a toga. Oh my gosh, look at that. Wouldn't it be fun to have a big toga party with large-breasted women that were employed in the synagogue of Satan, where we would all get together and think about all the different sewing that myself being the only man there. Pooch, how many big-breasted women that have back pain would consider wearing togas to a very special party?